A baby boy is born into a world of poverty, drugs, and violence. His name? Gervonta Davis. His parents? Struggling with addiction. His future? Looking about as bright as a black hole.
They were both on drugs, and my mother left me and my brother in the house by herself.
Is Tank the role model all kids should aspire to be like? Or a one-of-one kid that made it big and escaped the hood? Can he keep himself out of trouble enough to be the greatest of his generation? Everyone can see the talent, but low-key. There's the worry Tank can't keep himself out of trouble to win enough big fights to do it. Here's the thing, though. Looking at his upbringing and the team that got him here, I'd say he piles up more and more big fights and goes down as one of the best of this generation. At a young age, Tank and his siblings entered the foster care system, bouncing from home to home, never knowing where he'd end up next. New rules, new faces, new fears. For many kids, this is where the story ends. But Gervonta? He had a secret weapon in his corner, his grandmother.
My grandma fought to get us back for about a good 3 years. To be honest, I was young, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but she fought to get us back, and they finally got us back.
And after years of struggle, she did it. She won custody of Gervonta and his siblings, giving them a shot at a better life. But the story doesn't end there. Enter the Upton Boxing Center, a dingy, no-frills gym in West Baltimore. To most people, it looked like a dump. But to a 5-year-old Gervonta Davis, it was a golden ticket out of hell. Now, picture this. A tiny kid, barely tall enough to see over the ropes, walks into this gym. He's got nothing but the clothes on his back and a fire in his eyes. This is where Gervonta Davis met the man who would change his life, Coach Calvin Ford. And Calvin Ford was the inspiration for the character Dennis Cuddy Wise, HBO's all-time great crime show. You heard that right. The man who shaped Tank into a champion was so badass, they based a Wire character on him, reformed gangbanger, taking kids off the streets and training them into world champions.
I had that kid in my sights, close enough to take off his Kango and half his dome with it.
Talk about life imitating art, or is it the other way around?
Fruit fighters come every 10 years. I truly believe he's one of them fighters.
Ford spent 10 years inside for drug charges and lived the gang life he hoped to keep Tank from.
My uncle seen me fight outside my doorstep. So he took me to the gym. So I wasn't getting the love that I was getting at home. So I loved it at the gym.
Under Ford's guidance, the gym became more than just a place to box. It was a sanctuary, a place where Gervonta could escape the chaos of his life and focus on one thing, becoming a champion. But let's get one thing straight, this ain't no fairy tale. Outside the gym, life was still throwing haymakers at young Tank. Growing up in one of Baltimore's toughest neighborhoods, Gervonta was surrounded by temptation. Tank's parents struggled with their addiction problems. Drugs, gangs, easy money, it was all there for the taking. And at 8 years old, Tank nearly fell into the trap. Instead of spiraling down that dark path, Tank vowed never to touch that stuff again. At 8 years old, this kid had more willpower than most grown men. From that moment on, Tank poured everything he had into boxing. Every punch was a step away from his past. Every drop of sweat was a middle finger to the life he was supposed to have. And boy, did it pay off. By the time he was a teenager, Gervonta was racking up amateur titles like they were going out of style. 3-time National Silver Gloves champ, 2-time National Junior Olympics gold medalist. The kid was on fire, but the real turning point? 2012, National Golden Gloves. Tank doesn't just win, he dominates. The boxing world sits up and takes notice. This ain't just some kid from the streets anymore. This is a future champion in the making. February 22nd, 2013. Gervonta "Tank" Davis steps into the professional ring for the first time. His opponent? Desi Williams. The result? A knockout in the first round. Tank had arrived and he was hungry for more. Tank tears through the competition like a tornado through a trailer park. 8 fights, 8 wins. The kid isn't just winning, he's demolishing everyone in his path. And you know who was watching? The one and only Floyd Money Mayweather. The greatest boxer of his generation sees something in Tank that reminds him of, well, himself.
We'd like to work with you if you don't have a promoter, and within 24 months of us working with you, you will fight for a world title.
With Mayweather in his corner, Tank's career goes into overdrive. But let's be clear, this ain't no coattail ride. Tank's putting in the work day in, day out. January 14th, 2017. The big stage Tank faces off against Jose Pedraza for the IBF Super Featherweight title. Tank doesn't just beat Pedraza, he stops him in the 7th round. At 22 years old, the kid from the streets of Baltimore is now a world champion. Over the next few years, he collects titles like their Pokemon cards. 2018 WBA Super Featherweight champ. 2019 moves up to lightweight and takes that belt too. The Tank is steamrolling. 2020, Tank makes his pay-per-view debut against Leo Santa Cruz. The result? A knockout so brutal, it should have come with a parental advisory warning. Tank doesn't just win fights, he creates highlights that'll be played for years to come. But hold up, fight fans, we can't talk about Tank's story without addressing the elephant in the room. November 2020. Tank's involved in a hit-and-run incident that leaves 4 people injured.
That say that Davis was not only driving that Lamborghini when that crash happened, but surveillance video captures the shocking moment Gervonta Davis allegedly plows into a fence after crashing into another when he ran a red light and struck a Toyota Solero. 4 people were inside the car, the front airbags deployed, and the car is listed as destroyed. The report says Davis and 2 passengers.
Now I know what you're thinking. Another athlete thinking he's above the law, right? But wait, there's more. As if legal troubles weren't enough, Tank decides to test his luck against Mother Nature herself. August 2021. A private plane carrying Tank and his entourage crashes shortly after takeoff from Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. The plane's nose gear fails, sending it skidding off the runway. Picture this. You're a world champion boxer at the peak of your career. You've just escaped a plane crash. Most people would be shaken, maybe even quit. But Tank, he walks away without a scratch, posts about it on social media, and gets back to training. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call unstoppable. But the drama doesn't end there. Let's talk about one of Tank's most heated rivalries, the showdown with Rolando "Rolly" Romero, May 2022. 2 undefeated fighters, both with knockout power and a whole lot of bad blood between them. This fight had been brewing for a while, with plenty of trash talk to go around. Rolly's running his mouth, calling Tank overrated, saying he's gonna knock him out. Tank, he's cool as ice, letting his fists do the talking.
Sir, so if it was personal, I would have been an address at that house. You ain't no gay.
The build-up to this fight is intense. Fans are divided. Some think Rolly's power might be too much for Tank. Others think Tank's gonna school the young upstart. Fight night comes, and let me tell you, it does not disappoint. For 5 rounds, it's a back-and-forth battle. Rolly's showing he came to fight, landing some big shots. But then, in the 6th round, it happens. Tank does what Tank does best. He catches Rolly with a counter left hand that turns his lights out. Boom! Just like that, it's over.
Kind of awkward, but in this fight, he's not the
Tank proves once again why he's one of the best in the business. He doesn't just win fights, he ends them in spectacular fashion.
Did he give you any trouble in this fight? Was there anything about his style that was difficult?
No. I think I need to start warming up more, though, before the fight.
But the story doesn't end there. Let's talk about the lead-up to what many consider Tank's biggest fight yet, the showdown with fellow social media and boxing superstar Ryan Garcia. April 2023. 2 undefeated young guns, both with knockout power, set to clash. But before they could even step into the ring, the fireworks were already going off. Just weeks before his biggest fight yet, Davis pleads guilty to 4 charges related to the crash. First, there's the weight drama. The fight's set at a catch weight of 136 pounds, with a same-day rehydration clause. Translation? Both fighters have to watch their weight like hawks, even after the weigh-in. Then there's the trash talk. And boy, do these two know how to run their mouths. Garcia's throwing jabs about Tank's height, his personal life. Tank's firing back, questioning Garcia's mental toughness. And let's not forget the promotional drama. Two different promotional teams arguing over everything from revenue splits to drug testing protocols. It's like a soap opera, but with more punching. Through it all, Tank stays focused. He's been here before. He knows that when that bell rings, none of this stuff matters. It's just him, his opponent, and his fists. April 22nd, 2023, the moment of truth. All the talk, all the drama, it all comes down to this. And what happens? Tank does what Tank does best. 7 rounds of back-and-forth action, and then boom! Tank lands a second devastating shot. Garcia goes down, and he ain't getting back up. Tank proves once again why he's one of the best in the business.
Baltimore native and boxing champ Gervonta "Tank" Davis is sent to jail.
Tank spends a couple of months behind bars, no excuses. But will the man ever escape trouble? Constantly in the crosshairs of the law and domestic violence trouble. Fast forward to June 2024, and he's back in the ring, this time against Frank Martin. Martin's no pushover. He's undefeated, got skills, and he's hungry. But Tank, he's on another level. For 7 rounds, it's a chess match. Then, in the 8th, Tank finds the opening he's been looking for, a lightning-fast combination ending with a left hook that sends Martin crashing to the canvas. The ref doesn't even bother counting. It's over. Tank adds another highlight reel knockout to his collection.
The one mentor that I had was Calvin. He probably here.
Where's Calvin at?
Calvin was my coach, so.
And that's the real power of Tank's story. It's about fallible men who do wrong in their lives, do their time, then show kids from the hood that there's another way.
Davis recently bought up 2 buildings on Whittier Street. He hopes to be an example for others living in the neighborhood.
I feel as though the city will be better for, everybody. Everybody on this block,
From foster care to world champion. From the streets to the biggest stages in boxing. From legal troubles to giving back to his community.
It was probably like 6 or 7 of them. Like everybody that I actually started with did.
Really?
In boxing?
Yeah, boxing definitely really saved my life because I had an anger problem and any little thing would tick me off.
Let us know in the comments. Can Tank stay out of trouble enough to go on and beat Shakur Stevenson, Naoya Inoue, and Vasily Lomachenko? Is his life story of beating the odds, escaping the hood, and setting himself up for life already successful enough? If you enjoyed this knockout content, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to join the Cheetah Sports Pack, and hit the notification bell.